Man, it's something right now. It is something right now to be a university student. Especially if you're a student from York University. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Zoom University. I just thought I need to be specific of what group I'm talking about, because Zoom University can be anyone in this case, but I'm talking about York. It's Sean here, the president. Fair warning, not really fair warning. This episode isn't really gonna be a nice one. You know, I'm a person that likes to have a calm mind. I like to be collective with my thoughts and just how I perceive myself. I don't try to start conflict. I'm not trying to start no beef. And I'm sure as heck not trying to get mad for the wrong reasons. If you know me very well, yeah, you know I'm not that type of person. I'm a very nice guy to talk to, very conversational, would like to engage with others. I'm not really an extrovert in that way, but I do like to talk with other people if, we have the chance. But there's also days that some people should know that when I'm mad, I'm mad. And they know that something really is on my mind and it's pissing me off. And that's when they know, like, okay, today's not a day. Today's not a day. I'm just going to leave Sean alone. Don't bother him. I woke up this morning and it reminisced on me. Just a couple past 2 weeks at Zoom, or York University in this case, of just how the classes have been. How's it been to be online, doing remote learning and everything? And, I didn't know where I was. I was like 50-50. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, I'm not really sure. And then I don't know what happened today. But after having my classes, sitting here right now with you guys, I think I have my answer. I think I know what I want to say. Zoom University sucks. It sucks. I hate it. I hate it. The only positive thing is the fact that I'm home and I don't have to go to York. That's it. There's so many other aspects that I can't stand. And I'm thinking to myself, how did this come to be? I know most people are like, oh my gosh, going to online learning is going to be so hard. For me, like, I've been online the entire summer doing this podcast. I had online work. I was working on other projects as well. I kind of lived on the computer. So I'm thinking, okay, this shouldn't be so bad. This can't be horrible. But at the same time, here I am pissed about the fact that my classes are driving me insane. Now, disclaimer, I do not intend to call anybody out. Because again, I do show respect. However, I'm not going to just pretend that the words are coming out of my mouth, it's not correlating to you. I'm pretty sure the people who I'm talking about won't even see this. But I just want to know if you guys can relate. But again, I'm not sure you can relate. It's York. That seems to be the catchphrase of everyone when something goes wrong. Well, why is this happening? Why are you so mad? Like, why you always have a vendetta with York? It's York. There's no reason. It's just York. Sorry, I didn't even do the full intro. Guys, welcome back. Safe Room. Again, President Sean Williams. If you're returning, thank you for returning back. You guys are real ones since day one. If you're new, welcome. Take a seat. Grab your drinks, your snacks. Things are about to get interesting. Oh my God. I'm being very honest. I don't even want to be here. But I feel like there's a reason why I made this podcast. It's a platform. It's a platform where I can just come on here and just talk I don't want to vent, but I just want to talk, have an open conversation. Again, what I do best. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I'm here sitting thinking, I could be like sleeping. I could be like doing something. I could be playing NBA Live on my phone right now. I'm hella tired. I'm pissed. What's the point? But I'm here. I'm here for you guys. So we're going to talk about Zoom in York. Not Zoom overall. Zoom in York. But if this does relate to you, then I guess, hey, join the family. Join the crew. Zoom in general. We're going to talk about my 2 weeks back and just how it's just been so annoying. So annoying. If you want to check out all the previous episodes I did, make sure you go check out my podcast on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you can't immediately go there, just go to my Instagram bio on Mr_President SW. Go in my bio. There's a link tree. You can see all of them. There's more platforms, but I feel like no one hops on it, and I don't know why. But guys, like I would really love the support, not just on those 3, but all the platforms listed in my link tree. But yeah. Anyway, let's just dive in. I don't know what it is, but every time I wake up, I need to think now, I'm going online, and there's the possibility that I could leave early because of various scenarios. Number one, the professor or the TA is absolutely boring me, and I don't want to sit there and be tortured. Number two, simply, they end early. But, they try to drag it. When I say end early, in my perspective, I see that, the way this is going, we can end this early. We don't have to go the full duration. But they want to drag it because if that means they're going to get a paycheck and just maximize all the time they have, then they'll do it. I had my doubts about Zoom. To myself, I kind of predicted and I kind of called what was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a shutdown. I knew there was going to be a period where people were going to struggle to get online. I know people were just going to have a hard time to just change and adapt to this type of style. It still comes to the point where I am scared every day that my class is not going to be available because e-class will go down. I don't want that. Now, I'm not trying to say the internet is perfect. I'm not trying to say Zoom is trash. But there should be a level of consistency. That should be the mandate. You should make sure that there are a small amount of flaws. So, like, what do I really hate? Is it just Zoom or is it actually York and what they're doing? It's mostly Zoom, but you know what? At the same time, York, they're not making it better anyway. They're not making it really better in my case. I mean, let's just look at it. When it comes to the links for lectures and tutorials, I don't know what it is with this new rule, but for certain courses, not all, but certain courses, it seems that you need to log in through a specific account. I still remember when I was trying to log into one of my classes that it told me you need to switch your account to join. I was confused because, like, again, I've been using Zoom the entire summer and I did not see that once. So I was confused. I'm like, switch account? I'm like, what do you mean switch account? So then it's telling me I have to log in again. So I thought, okay, maybe that's just like a glitch or something. Let me go back in through my Gmail and everything. It says it again. So then, like, remind you, this was in the first week. So I was missing a couple minutes into the lecture, a couple 5-10 minutes, because I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And then it dawned on myself, wait, are they talking about your YorkU account? You mean the account that nobody touches? I don't know. Maybe you guys use it, but let me tell you something. I'm a person that checks my mail every day, but if there's one thing I can bet on, I do not check my YorkU account. There's probably over 1,000 mail in there. Everything that in terms of email, assignments, anything, feedback, it goes to my Hotmail or my Gmail. One of the two. You're not seeing my Yorkie account. It's dead. Dusty. Silence. So now, I'm extra mad because I'm like, oh my God, this has to be the standard thing now? I gotta keep logging into my Yorkie account? That's so much work. I'm already logged in, now I gotta log out every time because again, I be still doing other stuff on Zoom. And the weirdest thing too is like, when I hop off the lecture, it doesn't even stay on the Yorkie account and tells you, oh, you have the option to switch back. No, it just cuts off immediately. So if it does that, why can't I just use my Gmail? See, that's my issue. That's my issue. Consistency. There's no consistency in that. I don't know if any people from New York experience that, but that's my vendetta. So I just feel like that alone was like, oh, this is a huge red flag. Like if this is happening to multiple people, then this is not good at all. At all. So what about the actual lectures? Is there anything wrong? Not on my end. I mean, everything seems fine. You know, no glitching. No one's really getting kicked out randomly. I mean, all the functions seem to work. The chat, the whole participation list where the raise your hand, this and that. But I will say sometimes the audio does go off. Like you do get a resounding amount of feedback from the professor, depending on basically where they're sitting or wherever they're taking the lecture online from in their residency. But I don't think that there's been an issue in that sense. But yeah, I mean, it'd be fine. But another thing too as well, I go on eClass and sometimes there may be those professor and TAs that has like a folder. I know that everyone's been using the forums lately, and you know, usually they put all the tutorial links together or all the lecture links together, and that's fine. That's fine. But then when I go click it, and like I'm talking specifically recurring links, not new one, recurring links. When I try to go on, all of a sudden it wants to tell me, oh, there's an error because it's not connected to the server, or you need to log into it again, log into your account, which is weird because literally, if not even a day earlier, like an hour earlier, everything was fine. Now you're telling me there's an error? Again, that's what happened to me last time. So I'm just scrolling down there like, what do I do? What do I click? So that's a message my TA like, hey, I can't get into class. It's telling me that I'm not connected to something. I don't know what this is. And then I walked away, ranted to myself, thinking like, this is ridiculous. And then I come back. I just click refresh because you're like, you know, whatever. And the thing's there perfectly. And again, I think this goes to the lack of timing. Why are you taking literally 1 or 2 minutes before the class starts to add the link? And again, I don't want to get at any professors and TAs because I know that they have their job to do, but again, you really think online work would be more easier? And when I say easier in terms of like, okay, at least you have some time to plan things. Even though, yes, you're have multiple priorities, at least you're not like doing this out in the world where like, you know, you're always on the go. You always got to keep your feet moving. It's like hands-on, ongoing and everything. At least when you're home, it's on the computer. You do all of this in front of your screen. So tell me, how in the world are you literally taking the last 2 minutes before we start to add a link? When that should be the first thing you do like ahead of time. If you need to post the Zoom link before you post the recording of the previous lecture, do it. Besides, we already know it's recorded. Like, we already know it's going to be posted. You don't have to rush on that and then just dismiss the whole fact that, oh, for the next lecture, I need to put the link in. I shouldn't be walking away like an idiot ranting because I'm thinking, oh my God, this is not going to work. I'm not going to be able to join. And then literally 2 minutes later, you add the link. Now I look stupid. I really can't. I really can't. I'm trying to stay calm, guys. I'm trying to stay calm. Because again, like, it only gets worse from there. Because again, I know people. I know I asked the question: is it really Zoom or York? I already had problems with York before online. Before online, Zoom just made it worse. Zoom just intensified that rage. I hear like some of my classmates saying that, oh, I can't get on, I can't find the link, this and that. Like, half of them are saying they're on, half of them say I can't get on, half saying their audio's working, half said they're not. Oh, is this the link? Is that the link? Is my mic on? Is my audio working? How come my comments not appearing in the chat? Wait, which link is this? Is this the right link? We are, like, listen, I don't question a lot of universities, especially when it comes to lectures. But I have more questions now about the lectures and the meetings and how they take place than I actually had questions when I was in person, sitting in the lectures and tutorial. The amount of issues is ridiculous. Again, it's like every day I wake up expecting some new bullshit. I'm always expecting something. All right, what's it gonna be now? Is E-class gonna be down for like 12 hours like it was in the first week? Am I gonna submit an assignment and it just glitches out and it says, "Oh, I can't take your file"? Am I gonna hop on the wrong link? Is my audio gonna be cut off the entire video? I don't know. It's frustrating. So, I mean, that's my rant on Zoom. Now, York. Again, I'm a person that likes to stay calm, but York, man, York, hey. Oh my gosh, my classes. Again, I don't want to call anyone out. I really don't. I want to say this. In terms of my schedule, my classes, kind of going off topic a little bit, this is probably the best schedule I've ever had. Like, the way I put it together, it's so well. It actually does not give me an excuse to miss my readings. It really does not. Like, the amount of classes every single day go down as the week goes by. Literally, when I get to Friday, all I have is one class that day, and it's a 1-hour tutorial. So it basically says, okay, you start hard at the beginning of the week, and then you ease your way through. I love it. It's perfect. But then that begs the question, how are the courses actually going to be? Are they going to be to your liking? There's been classes I like. There's been classes I like. And there's also been classes that I hate. And I know what they are. And again, if you have that feeling, then trust me. And then there's just that class, straight up. I have one class, I just don't care. I just don't. Like, I feel like I just took it because I needed to. And the funny thing is, it's actually under the same department where I literally took it my first year, and again, I literally BS my way through and I got an A. Same exact department, same exact subject matter as well. It's like for full circle. So I'm looking at my classes this year and I'm thinking, okay, this can't be so bad. Online, you know, everything should be simple. I only have one asynchronous class. I'm kind of sad for that, to be very honest. I think that's not even more of a huge issue. I think that's just a me issue. I mean, it would be so nice if I had at least more than one. And not to mention the one I have, it's like the work there is so easy. It's so simple. But I think my issue with the courses is straight up how it's been presented on Zoom. Now, I feel like this is where I have to bring in the professor and the TAs a little bit more. I understand that making this change is difficult, although I don't think it really should be difficult. I feel like you guys should at least get the hang of it at this point. Not to mention last March, like, not even last March, just this year, I say lateral because I'm thinking like in years in terms of semesters and stuff, but just early in the year, we were online. Yes, it may not have been for a long period, but come on. Hey, you guys were online, you're already teaching lectures and everything. When people are already, they're already ready to write off the year and just do their exams and just end this because, again, 2020 has been horrible. So there should be some experience. There should be something that you should learn and take with you going into this year. Now, I know everyone has their classes, whether it's 2-hour or 3-hour lectures, 1 hour, 2-hour tutorials, whether it's a lecture, a seminar, whatever you want to call it. Is it me? Or are these professors, and this is just my situation, but I feel like this is, again, I like to think in a more broader sense, like try to make it more relatable. And I'm pretty sure this is not a far-fetched hypothesis. Is it me, or are the professors in TA really trying to stretch the time when it comes to their lecture tutorials? Like they want to make sure, oh, we need to hit 2 hours. Oh, we need to make sure that we get all the amount of time that we need. We got to make sure that we're covering everything. We're maximizing our time to the fullest. Like it's some utilitarian type approach, you know, for all my business students out there. Like they want to maximize everything. I understand. You don't want to leave a single detail out. I understand. It's good to go for the 2 hours. I get it. If this was in person, if it's in person, if I actually have to sit there and take it, I'm not saying we're complacent, but there have been moments where I literally question, and it's the same question. Could have we ended this class 10 minutes ago? Could we ended this class 5 minutes ago? Could we ended this class 30 minutes ago? And I think to myself, man, oh man, either these professors and teachers are really trying to either they're trying to really get their time out, or they're really interested in the material that they can't stop talking, or they are just trying to really get their money's worth. Literally. There have been so many classes where, and again, I don't know. I do talk with some of my friends still. Some people say they don't mind it. But again, this is York. I'm talking to York people. If you relate, and again, if you're not from York, but you feel this way, then I don't get it. I really don't. They're trying to stretch the time. It's like you have a 2-hour class, but let's say you're halfway through the time duration, maybe an hour 15 and something like that. And literally, you can tell by the sense of the presentation. Again, we all have this sense about us where okay, you know what? The professor, the TA, they've covered everything. They moved at a nice pace. Everything was said well put together. We can just end it now. But then they may hit you with something like this. Does anyone have any questions? And yes, there are going to be questions asked, but then I feel like when they try to ask more questions, I feel like, are you really asking more questions because you care, or you're asking more questions because you're really trying to drag out time? Or better yet, they really just keep talking more on the subject matter when you've probably explained it the best way you possibly can. You're just rambling. And I'm just sitting there we could have finished this 20 minutes ago. You don't have to sit there for 2 hours straight. Trust me. I don't want to blame no professor and TAs, but man, oh man, it feels like they've never seen a clock or a watch, or they haven't seen time before. Because in these moments, time is just an illusion. They just talk, and I feel like sometimes they kind of go off the rail. So then I'm just sitting here man, oh man, what could I be doing in the next 10 minutes? I could have been doing this. I could have got this done. I could have finished that. So Professor TA, listen, you can teach your material. We're going to learn it. Understandable. But don't feel that because you were able to finish earlier than the given duration that you need to actually fill out that time. Why do you feel like things need to be filled out? If you're able to tell everything in a short period amount of time and the entire class understand it, that should be something you should be proud of. You should be like, you know what? I broke that down very well. Everyone understood it, and that's the most important thing. It's not about how long or how short you go, because people are like, well, Sean, like, what's your issue? You can't sit in front of the computer for 2 hours. Like you said, you were in front of the computer. It's not about how short and how long it is. It's about if the students at the end of that class are able to say, you know what, I understood it, and, you know, I asked my questions, you know, we had a great discussion. If there was a discussion, maybe people just want to listen to it and just get a better sense of it, and you know what? You know, the professor did their job. I don't want to be leaving thinking like, yo, did this person need to really talk for that long? Like the man was just talking and talking, or she was just talking and talking. I'm like, forgive me, but I feel like that should not be something that's in any professor or TA's mind. I need to make sure I get 2 hours all the time. I'm taking a 3-hour lecture. 3-hour lecture. It was basically a seminar, right? I think we only went like an hour and 30 minutes. Half the time. Which, that's fine. And he even said it too. Like, that, you know, he wanted to end it early because, again, he had really enough to say. But next week, we'll probably have more time to talk about because he wants to get a discussion. And that's fair. He taught it well. I was intrigued with the material, and, you know, I understood what he was saying. I think that's important. And then I had a class today, and again, this is basically what kind of motivated me to come on here and do this. But it was a 2-hour lecture, and you know those classes where you seem that the professor, like, they seem to know their stuff. They're up to date with their information, and they have a way of analyzing things very well. But when they apply that skill set too well, and they just start talking and talking and talking, yeah, that's what happened to me. You're probably thinking, what's the bad part about that? Well, after an hour and 30 minutes, the professor only made it to slide 9. Slide 9 of 31. Let me repeat that again. My class was from 10:30 to 12:30. From 10:30 to 12, he was only on slide 9 of 31. He wasn't even 1/3 away. He wasn't at the 1/3 mark. I was literally throwing my hands in the air because my camera was off. And I really thought to myself, this has to be the worst lecture I've ever took. It's not even close. And me saying that, I'm pretty sure to people who are listening, there probably is a list I have. And trust me, there is a list. But this was horrible. And in the last 30 minutes, this individual, the professor, takes the time to legitimately rush through, like, in the last 30 minutes, go from slides 9 to 31. Just rush it. Or should I say 10 to 31? And I just knew that this was very unprofessional. I'm like, he clearly wasn't on his game. Now, if it was fair enough, if maybe he said, you know what, we're going to stop at this slide and we're going to continue. Because I thought that was the logical thing, you know? It's like, you know, I can't teach everything, but you know what we can do? You know what? We'll go up to this point, and you know what? We'll talk about it next time. Or, here's the thing. For some classes, you may have a tutorial that same day of the lecture. Maybe for that tutorial, you can say, you know what? I'm going to cover half, and your TA is going to cover the rest of the half. Sure, that would have not been the best choice by voter population, but at least that kind of continues the conversation. He actually rushed through. All he did, and I knew this immediately. The minute I saw that, I put down my pencil because I knew he wasn't actually going to explain. No, he was literally just going to, and I said I told you I wasn't going to explain, but Cat's out the bag now. He went bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, next slide. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, next slide. Bullet point, bullet point, next slide. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, next slide. This class was recorded, so all I knew was like, okay, you know what? Slide 9, okay. Okay, slide 10 to 31, I'm not writing enough. I'm just going to copy down every bullet point because he didn't elaborate. He did, I believe, 22 slides, because 10 to 31 is 22. 22 slides in 30 minutes. I've never seen that. In a classroom? At any presentation, whether it's a conference, a social event, nothing. I have never seen that. And again, the class, I wasn't the only one. The class saw this too, and it was so shocking to see. I was like, man, what the heck is going on here? We got professors rushing because they're not able to utilize their time to the fullest. And now I'm thinking to myself, what happened if this was in person? They probably would have flamed them even more because, again, this wouldn't be recorded. It's not like, no, it's a recorded lecture in person. If he did that in person, he would have got backlash. They would have probably told him, like, sir, that doesn't seem reasonable that for 9 slides you did the most critically analyzed version you could possibly do. And then literally the next 22, you just went zoom, zoom, zoom like it was a NASCAR race. Forget the joke there, but you know what I mean. And it's not just lectures, there'll be tutorials too. And again, this goes back to one of my previous episodes, tutorial participation. If you haven't gone see that, watch that, please. There are going to be tutorials that have tutorial participation. I stress the fact that there shouldn't be to begin with because of such and such. I said the fact that no one's going to talk. You're going to do social pressure. You're going to force people because you believe that, oh, it's online. So, you know, there should be more people talking, right? No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I said it, I stated it, and I was right. There are some tutorials, some tutorial leaders that are forcing students to talk. When honestly, depending how you feel, you may want to talk, yes, but maybe you just want to listen. Maybe you just want to get an understanding of the information on the course material so that maybe in the future you're able to talk on stuff like this. Now, there's one way to show that you want the students to participate and be intrigued in the material. And I think that's the important thing. It's one thing to tell someone to participate. It's about how you show that. If you know that, you know what, guys, if you want to participate, please, but I can understand why if you don't want to talk, if you're not comfortable, that's cool. And again, it's a work in progress too. You're not going to expect, based on the side, let's say 20 students, on day one, everyone's chatting and chatting and chatting. Because I know classes where like multiple people talking. I'm not talking like 2, 3, 4. I'm talking like over 10. And it's not like, oh, you know, 5 talk majority, but, you know, 5 people give a little 1, 2. No, I'm talking like consistency. Like consistently 10 people are talking throughout the entire tutorial. And then there's the tutorial where no one says a word. No one. Silence. And this has happened online. It happened to me last year in person. I had a class where I had a tutorial in the morning, 8:30. That right there should already give you a red flag. 8:30 tutorial where no one said anything. And then there's those classes where you have 1 or 2 or 3 people talk over like 20. And then the teacher just pushing it down your throat. Somebody talk, please, somebody talk. I only have 3 people talking. Can you please speak up? Excuse me, when did you become the puppet master? Do you pull my strings so I can speak? Have you ever heard of freedom of speech? If I don't feel like talking And this is not me catching an attitude. This is just stating out my right. If I don't feel like talking, it doesn't mean I'm not engaged. And yes, it's hard to measure that. Again, I mentioned that before. It's hard to measure that. But I think you need to give it more time than just going off of one class or two classes. Maybe like after reading week, then you can at least get a big enough sample size. Like, okay, and I can at least tell or at least make assumptions about, okay, this person's probably not talking a lot, but they're engaged, they're focused. And again, like, or even better, how about this? Put the cameras on. At least that will make people to actually sit there. And at least if you know, like, okay, they're not talking, that, okay, you know what, they're not talking, but I can see in their facial expression, like, they're understanding. They understand what I'm talking about. Is that difficult? Is that hard? In fact, you know what? There might be tutorials straight up where, and I know that people have been doing this now. People have been creating group chats and everything, and that's a smart strategy. Sometimes people be talking in those group chats during the lectures and tutorials. So in a way, we are participating. We're just not saying what we want to say to you. We're just talking to the rest of our classmates. But they wouldn't know that, would they? So if you ask me, like, because again, I had a class today, and like we were talking in the group chat. We were talking about the present, because some students had presentations. Again, it's based on the situation for you. You may talk about the material and everything. In a way, that's participation right there. Everyone should get marks for that. But no, if you don't actually say words coming out of your mouth, and if the professor or TA don't hear you, it doesn't constitute as a participatory mark. All right, but it's York. It's York. I knew this was going to be an issue. That's why you should have never had tutorial participation marks to begin with. Let's just say today I was put in a situation where I spoke my mind. I just said it like it is. Because again, I'm not a person that likes to hold things back. If there's something I want to say, I say it. And it wasn't just me. My other classmates had their own opinions too. Whether it was to the individual in charge, professor / TA, or it was in the group chat. Regardless, I think for people, everyone has their own opinions on how the past couple weeks have been on Zoom or York University or wherever you are. And again, this is not just a York discussion. I'm not trying to like set any boundaries. This is for anyone that can relate. But my last thing before I get out of here, because I know I'm about to explode. Zoom, I don't like it. I really don't. Maybe because I haven't got used to it for a while. Or maybe it's the fact that Zoom is just not going to work for the entire year. I just don't like it. York, I'm always going to have problems with you. But I can't complain. I need to get myself an education. But I will not stop talking about how you guys seem to slip up and drop the ball once in a while. Towards my courses, I'm enjoying some of them. Again, you know who you are. And I'm not really liking some of them. Again, you know who you are. Like I said, I think the biggest positive is the fact that I don't have to do this in person. The fact that I can legit stay home, wake up, and just be like, you know what, I can literally have a meeting in my bed. And I just have to adjust the camera. People could think that I'm wide awake, but I just woke up. Or again, you don't even have to. Some people could be sleeping, wake up in their pajamas, and don't even turn on their camera. That's the beauty of it. Again, with this whole pandemic, I hope it ends soon. But to be honest, the second wave's about to come, so everybody just start barricading their doors. And then again, I mean, to be honest, recently, like, what's it? Over 800 cases in the last 2 days. Like, what's going on? What's going on, people? I called it too on my other episode. Second wave, what's gonna come? Actually, I didn't even call it. I said it since the very first episode of the Safe Room. I called it. I'm not trying to say I did it alone. I know everyone had their thing. Everyone called it. But I'm going to get out of here. For all my university students, keep hope. Because, man, we are in for a very annoying year. I feel it. I'm pretty sure anyone else returning or new can feel it as well. This year is going to be very annoying. A lot of twists and turns, a lot of things to come. I just hope that, and I'm asking this from the kindness of my heart, E-Class. I'm looking to everyone at E-Class, the developers and everything. If you start crashing like at least every week, even if it's once a week, I don't know what to say. See, I can't even tell you what I would feel, but I'll probably just laugh it off because it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in into the Safe Room. The season finale will be dropping this Friday, so make sure you guys tune into that. I'm still trying to figure out what time on Friday, so that way you guys know exactly on that day when it's dropping. Again, that Friday episode, it's going to be special. Again, for all the people who know Black Brilliance very well, you know what we do. That's going to be the talking point. We got Miss Toni Morgan coming on the season finale, and I'm excited, but I'm also kind of sad because, I mean, this is going to be the last episode going into Friday, and it's crazy. And, you know, I don't have that much rants when it comes to this season. I only had like one rant uttered, but it wasn't even a rant. This might have been like the biggest rant. And like I said, I wasn't even screaming at top level. Earlier on, I was legit yelling. I was yelling. But it is what it is, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys check out all the episodes again. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. Again, if you want to make sure that you stay updated with everything, go check those out. You can go to my Instagram bio, Mr. MR_President SW. On my Instagram, go in my bio, the link tree, everything's there. I'm gonna head out of here. Probably gonna punch a wall, not really, JK. But yeah, I'll see you guys at the season finale. Take care.